I got done with one burg, and that's what got me 3 years. And then the chase got me 6 months, and then I done a bag snatch. I got chased, and then I tried to take him on, hitting curbs, dangerous driving, smashed the car in the tree. I was bad on the meth.
Oh, on the meth. Yeah, did you inject it?
I was smoking it heavily.
Yeah, smoking, but not injecting?
Yeah, not last year, the year before.
You started injecting?
After prison. I was 12. So the rabbit-proof fence was that they was trying to take these girls away from their family. They live by law, culture, and you know, they speak 5 dialects language where, you know, trying to live a Western society and try to live culture is pretty,
Each quarter has 4 pieces, and each piece is worth 1 pack of Hawks or $60.
Some people sell at 150.
Yeah.
Pay ID, 100. I'd done all the courses.
Yeah.
I was a menace. I had an encounter with God 2 years ago. I had anointing of the Holy Spirit.
My name is Grady Stewart, an American living in Australia, and in 2018, I was convicted of cocaine trafficking from Compton, California to Perth. I've done my crime, and this podcast is my redemption. Are you ready? Welcome to Crimes and Misunderstandings, a true crime podcast where we do interviews with real convicts, and we find out if they're on the fast track back to prison or the road to redemption. So, me being an American, coming from America, they have actually the oldest culture in the world here, the Australian Aboriginal, so the Aboriginal culture, and I don't know what the population is here, but I think it's like 13 to 14%, and they take up about 70% of people incarcerated, and it starts at a young age. I've got Alan Archee here. We spent a lot of time in prison. He's in there with him, his dad, and he's actually doing really well. I think it was probably because he was beaten to death on the basketball court by the one and only. Let's get into it. We'll talk how we met down there. But you started, like, your mom and dad were together. We were just talking until you're six years old. Your mom had a child previous to your dad.
Yep.
Then 2 children with your dad. After the mom. And then your dad went to prison for a bit.
Yep.
They had broken up. She met another man, had a child.
Yep.
Your dad came back, and I know your daddy's a good dude. He also got dominated on the basketball court. actually, they're really good basketball players. I was just a better shit talker. And then he came back and had rekindled with your mom, and they had another child together.
Yep.
And then eventually things didn't work out and they went their separate ways. Yeah. Yes. And your mom, long story short, the dad, between all of you, there's 8 siblings. And your dad disappeared out of your life from like 6 to 13. Is that right?
Yep.
The way that you grew up in this area is called KGB. A lot of people consider it like a gang. So you're talking to people in America. You're also talking to people in Australia, New Zealand, but like me, I didn't even know what an Aboriginal was when I came here. I thought there was Australians. I didn't know there was the original Australian being Aboriginal. So tell these guys what KGB is. It's not a gang, it's kind of a community, and tell them how it started.
So back in the 80s, Kadula Bauga Gerween was just like, it was in the center, like it was close. Like you could go over one road and you're in Bauga.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the road is Gerween. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side is Kadula.
Quick shout out to today's sponsors, Enzino, a Scandinavian test-based nutrition company with a game-changing omega product that most Aussies have not heard of yet. But just like this podcast, it's going to blow up. So you're going to want to jump on board. Their patented balanced oil starts with a simple blood test to show if your omega-3s are deficient. And odds are, they are. What makes it different? It isn't your average fish oil. It's loaded with powerful polyphenols that stop oxidation in your body and make sure it actually reaches your cells to repair damaged membranes. We're talking real results, faster recovery, faster performance, lower inflammation, stronger immune system, and sharper focus. Then at 120 days, you test again and see the proof for yourself. Check the show notes for the link and get yourself back in balance. Zinzino. To our next sponsor, Grady Stewart, who brings in the most beautiful topless waitresses in town. Hit him up directly so we can get in touch with Lily, the shark bite lady. She will happily deliver testy morsels naked.
We actually have an email now, crimesofmisunderstanding@gmail.com.
Bro, do you know we even actually have a website? Did you know that? You told me not to build one, but I did it anyway.
We got an email. It's fine.
Yeah, but no, it's actually like a Crimes or Misunderstandings that actually has an email instead of Gmail, so we're not so ghetto. But we do like the ghetto, don't we, Lily?
Yeah, but then the people can email you.
Well, yeah, baby steps. Remember,
baby steps. One of the
we're a low budget show at the moment. You know how much I made in prison?
You are?
I got fired from every job I had, but while they were paying me, the most I ever made, $7.20 a day. And that was for like 14 days before they fired me.
You can buy one avocado a day. That is not that bad.
I could. You could buy one avocado a day. Yeah, that's, you know what? I always like looking on the bright side of things.
Mm-hmm. So it was where families lived in different parts, like of KGB, Girraween, Balga, Girraween. I grew up in Girraween, so I class Girraween as my neighbourhood.
Right. But and then, I mean, in the 80s, literally, Perth is now huge. I mean, it's like the size of San Diego. Although, you know, I lived in San Diego, so Perth is way better. It's the most beautiful city I've ever been in the world. But KGB, not to be mistaken for the Russian KGB, is an area predominantly lived in by Aboriginals, but it's multicultural. But it was, at that time, the end of Perth. There was nothing after that, right? It was just, it was bush. Yeah.
Yeah, so back in the 80s, KGB was KGB because you had the old OGs, you know, the OGs, like they was doing some hectic shit. They were stealing cop cars from the police station and getting high-speed chase while they're driving cop cars. So that's where it started. You know Jeremy, his dad is one of the members of that gang back in the day, and you know, a lot of riders. And
where is Jeremy? Do you still see him or not?
Yeah, I talk to him sometimes.
Go tell us that what a personable guy. So like, yeah, but he's good. But you guys, when you grow up, and crime is rampant. Like poverty is abject. Like you guys have a lot of poverty there, and like I was telling you before, like my first, when I came here, I had they call them half-caste Aboriginal. She was like light skin, and I didn't know what Aboriginal was. I thought she was Italian when I met her in America. She was like a basketball player. Like went to the Italian kitchen, and I had her speak Italian to her. She's like, what do you say? I said, I don't know. You're the Italian. She's like, I'm not Italian. I'm Australian. I said, what do you mean? She's like, I'm Aboriginal. And then explained to me like it was like Native American, but you know it is. And my first experience when I came to live here was in Kununurra and then in Turkey Creek, Waterman community. And man, there's no right or wrong way how to live life. There's just the way that makes you guys happy. And I think Western society, we live individually for like personal gains, personal successes. You guys live as a group. What we were talking before, if one person gets paid, everybody gets paid.
That's how it works. Yeah.
That's it. Like, you got $100 in your wallet, and I'm your brother. I get half. Yeah, and that's how it is. And then, like, even I was shocked. My ex-girlfriend's family, they're explaining to me, and I've now got a skid name and a totem name. But when you marry a girl, their family gets to take whatever they want from you. You can have a car and they didn't show up, wake up in the morning, and it's gone because her dad took it. And that's how it is, right?
Yep, that's how it is, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys grow up in abject poverty, and you're learning that really the only way you're watching rappers, Americans, TVs, and you're seeing the Western style of life, and the easiest way for you guys to get that is through crime, more or less. And you've worked your way through, you're now 27 years old. He's now a Christian. We'll get back to like how he got there, and he's doing good. But you started off shoplifting, and your first crime was when? Like serious crime was, how old were you?
So I was 12. It was my first burg.
Yeah.
And that led to like shoplifting.
Yeah.
So back in the day, they took your fingerprints.
Yeah.
And then when I was like 12, I done my first burg, and then they got my fingerprints on a fence.
Yeah.
And I still remember it because it was my first burg. And they come back home and I was...
So burglary, yeah? Like, is that breaking into a house?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I went back home and they rocked up and...
Yeah, got you. So they had your fingerprints from when you were like 6 years old, 8 years old?
11.
11 is when the first time they took your fingerprints.
Yep.
And 12 years old, you broke into a house.
Yeah, because I was used to steal from the shops and get caught trespassing.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you get little cautions,
Yeah.
and then eventually they charge you, and then they gotta get your fingerprints.
Yeah, that's it. And so at 12 years old, you broke into somebody's house. How'd you get in there?
Smash the window.
Smash the window. Straight through, huh?
Yeah.
How did you know they weren't home?
Just knock at the front door.
It's like, and if they answer, what do you say? Like, what do you say?
Is anyone home?
But if they're obviously home, if they are home, do you ask them if anyone's home?
You don't give a fuck.
You just go in,
Yeah.
even if they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many of you go?
There's about 5 of us.
At 12 years old.
Yep. Some was older that was showing us the ropes.
Oh,
you know?
they were teaching you. So,
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the like the way of life, and like again. The Aboriginals run the show like by sheer number. Like me, did you know any other Americans in there other than me?
Nah.
No, I was the only one, right?
Yeah.
Who was the best shit talker in prison?
Grady Stewart.
Hey, don't say my last name, man. They're gonna come check it for me. But I played basketball with these boys, and did we have fun or what?
Yeah, we have good fun in there. You know, shit talking and just make the game more. Just more compatible, you know, like more a bit serious.
Yeah, I came out back.
Take it to heart.
Nobody cared who won in prison as long as it wasn't me, because the shit talking ran rampant. But yeah, we made it fun, and we did it, enjoyed it. I was thinking I was the only white guy that played with you guys. Was there?
We'll get items from the vending machine.
What's that?
Items from the vending machine.
Yeah. That was bad, man. We had fun. So anyway, but your whole family, like you grew up in like when I went. And I was the only person. When you guys go in, it's like
it's family packed.
Man, it's like, hey, what's happening? Five, you guys want some? You want some good? You know, whatever. Like a home brew. You did like smoking cigarettes, like just passing it. It's just like it is. It's not as probably daunting or terrifying for you guys as it is for like someone like me coming in and not knowing what to expect. You know, so.
That's true.
Yeah. So, So
what was your experience like? How old were you when you actually went in, and what did you go in for? And then that experience of going into jail for the first time, what was it like?
So I was 19, and I got done with a robbery, and they downgraded to assault, casualty, bodily harm, and that was my first sentence. But I was on remand, so went all the way up to 9.5 months, and then they sentenced me 9.5 months, and they sentenced me 10 months.
So
and then I went to court, come back, was going home in 2 weeks. That was my first. I loved it.
But wait, what did you tell us before?
I was young. I just loved it. Like,
boys and girls out there, we're gonna get to the point that he doesn't love it anymore. But before that, you were telling us that you were on trial for 3 years.
Yes,
3 years, and that was for what?
3 robberies and 2 GBH, or I think 1 GBH and 1 assault, and I think about 5 or 6 burgs.
Yeah, so GBH is grievous bodily harm. So that means you seriously hurt somebody. Yeah. What did they say you did to hurt this person?
It was hit.
You punched them, and they felt bad. But like I think you have to break something or something.
Somebody else done it, but because we was in company, we all got
and that's the problem, because it's like the pack of wolves frenzies, you know what I mean? And there's nothing safe about that. And that's what we're gonna have to work on, like young kids like you coming out of the thing, like building like leadership skills to show them, hey, you know what? It's easy to go with the way of the wolves, but we've got to start changing, because you guys, there's so many talented Aboriginals. I mean, they're best athletes, man. They're great artists. Like there's so many things that you could do, but because you guys grow up in a community where everybody's your mom and dad. It's not just one mom and dad. You say your mom, after your dad was gone with all of her kids, I mean, she was going house to house living. Well, you know, that's hard living. And so the only way you can get out there and get what you want is what the older boys are showing you. And they're not only their family, but it's a gang life, and you're getting your family on the streets.
Yep, so true.
Yeah. And what is your dad, like your dad is like, I don't know, he's got gray hair, like, but he's like blonde hair, blue eyed, like,
Yeah.
and the Aboriginals have a very specific kind of Aboriginal like accent. And but your dad looks like a white guy, man. And all of a sudden, what now? You don't know white man? I was like, hey, what? I was like, I don't care if you do talk like it, you're still getting dunked on. But your dad was a great athlete. Like I think his dad's one of the only guys that smokes and plays basketball at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
but great athlete, man. Both you, you awesome athlete. Like played, you get to play footy with Bing Cousins, huh? Did you play? Were you and Heike playing with him at the time or not?
Nah, Chris Sharon.
Chris Jarrett.
Chris Sharon.
Chris Jarrett. Who's that? That was the guy with us in Acacia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, most Aboriginals are hell of athletes, aren't they?
That's true.
So much ability, so much talent, but you know, we've got to work on like turning that into the good. I know everybody has been trying for years and years, and there's just like no answer because, but like up north, the kids run rampant. I mean, like Alice Springs is a nightmare. You know, you go out in the middle of the night and they're robbing your car. The cops are trying to pull them over. The kids are like 9 years old running from cops in cars, and when they get it, they're too young to go to jail. And so, it's happening. But yeah, we got to get guys like you that have gone through this and understand it's no good. And you got to start developing a crowd. That's why we got you in here, because you're doing good now. We're going to get there. So you've got 12 years old, 3-year trial for all those burgs. And
Yep. And then they put me on a 24-hour curfew. So I was stuck at my grandmother's and grandfather's house for like 3 to 2.5 years till the trial was over.
Yeah.
And then...
So you couldn't leave at all?
No.
Inside the house?
I was stuck.
Yeah. I mean, and in that case, because I'd rather go to prison if I was you, because you got your family there. You can play basketball, you know? Right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's true, man. Like, and they play footy and basketball, but better than just sitting in the house. You go crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So you've spent your teenage years literally locked in a house.
Yeah, that's what stopped me from going back to high school.
No, so you didn't graduate high school?
No.
So one of these things that's very common in the Aboriginal communities is like, when I moved up there, there's a guy named Harold. I couldn't read or write, but like he'd be like, Ben, he would be driving and be like, turn left here, and we'd go look at try to spearfish like barramundi or brim, and we'd pull up in this flowing water, and he'd look down and be like, nah, somebody already been here. I was like, how do you know? Because there's footsteps. I said, that's running water. How do you see that? Like, you know, the guy could tell you where somebody had gone by the way the grass was bent. Like he could tell you where, man. And there's no dumbness about it. You know what I mean? It's just, but you guys don't learn like to read and write a lot. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you read and write?
I'm good at reading, but writing's a bit...
Not so much. No. So how do you send text? Because you can voice talk it, or?
Nah, I text. I just teach myself.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's good. But at least in Australia, they have these programs to work on the minds and do stuff like that. But so you didn't even get to go to school. I mean. So
I went from, say, year 1 to year 7. Yeah. And then year 8, dropped down, 13.
Yeah. And your parents weren't like just, they didn't like force you to go or anything like that?
So I moved to live with my grandmother, and they was really strict, and they made me go to school when I was young, because I left my mum when I was about 8, and I lived with my grandmother, and I was still getting in trouble because I was hanging around the wrong crowd. Yeah. So, you know, as I said, KGB, girl, when you walk around the corner, you have a black fella's house there, and you know them, and then you kick back with them, and then their mum, you know, on the drugs, and it was... passed down.
Yeah, so generationally. So it is, I mean, like, if you see it as a kid, it becomes normal to you. Like, my parents, man, they were like overboard Christians. I'll tell you what, you even thought about a swear word, you got your ass beat. Like, you thought about drinking, you got your ass beat. You know what I mean? Like, there's ass beatings handed out like liberally because they didn't want you. They wanted to control every aspect of your life, which was horrible. But I think it was, you know. But what you guys go through, it's a fast track to a pointless life when you guys have so much ability, you know. And we got to get the right guys in there. But it starts. Let's go back to your grandmother. We were just talking. She's stolen generation.
Yes.
Okay. Tell the Americans what a stolen generation Aboriginal was.
So back in the day, they used to take children away from their family, and it was like back then it was welfare or child protecting people.
Right, what was it, Diogo? Even though you're Brazilian, you understand. Like, why were they taking these kids? I mean, why did they have the right to just go into a tribe and they would literally pry the children out of their mom's arms unless if they were half caste, they were safe, right?
No, they would want to take them so they can adopt them.
Oh, okay. So they wanted the lighter ones as well.
Yeah, they adopt them into white families.
Yeah. So what was that about, Diogo?
Yeah, so this was a policy that came out. So the stolen generation refers to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children who were forcibly removed from their families by the Australian federal government and state government agencies, as well as the church missions between approximately 1910 and 1970s. So they essentially placed them in institution, foster homes, or with white families, forbid them to speak their language or practice their culture, often subject to abuse, neglect, and exploitations. And essentially what it was trying to breed out the Aboriginals. So they were trying to breed out the full caste Aboriginals and align them into Western culture.
It was literally like they said, breeding the black out of them, yeah? Like they wanted to... I mean, like it was like almost a curse to be dark because they wanted to outbreed you, I guess. I don't know what the story was, but they literally would come in and just tear children from their mother's arms. Like I couldn't believe that. Like, I mean, any white person, all they have to do is imagine, like, you have children that you love and someone just says, hey, we're superior to you, we're taking your kid. You know what I mean? Like, talk about that, you know, I don't care how, but nobody has a right to take your child unless you're abusing them. And that, for what I know, is not the case. They were just taking them. So, and then they would take them to missions?
They would take them to missions. They had Marybank and Magamba Mission. Mm-hmm. So Marybank was near Katanning where my grandmother grew up.
Yeah.
And Marybank was more towards the wheat belt near Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
And, you know, kids would go there and, you know, they would try and breed them out.
Yeah,
Try and
they would like match a dark one with a lighter color to get the baby to start changing shades.
Yeah, but they would try to have the darker women's probably of house labor, like working around the house, you know.
Yeah. And the lighter ones, or was it? You mean the darker ones are out in the field and the lighter ones in the house? Yeah.
So the lighter ones are getting looked after because they can breed them out. They can act white.
Yeah, that's right. And then,
has your grandmother ever spoken to you about that?
She shared stories how she used to run away from they had like these churches.
Yeah.
So they used to take them there, like girls' churches. And my nan used to run away all the time.
Well, so that was like an orphanage, yeah? They took
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
When I first came here, I saw a heartbreaking movie called Rabbit Proof Fence. Do you know about it?
Yes.
Tell the American people and everybody else that doesn't know what happened to your people. What Rabbit Proof Fence? It's a true story.
Yeah.
Tell them what it was about.
So the Rabbit Proof Fence was that they was trying to take these girls away from their family, and you know they had a tracker that would track these kids down to try and find
a tracker being somebody that could track you, because it was back then they would be on a horse. And who were the best trackers in the world?
It was Indigenous. So
Indigenous tracking Indigenous to return them to
the white people.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman was smart because she knew to cover her tracks.
Yeah, but she wasn't a woman. She was what?
She
11 years old. She was like 11 years old.
Yeah. And she followed the Rabbit Proof Fence all the way to take her back to Jigalong country.
Yeah. So a Rabbit Proof Fence, when it ran, what was that, Diego? Like it was such a long fence, but it ran. How long did it run for? It was like all the way up. So she knew that her community was on that rabbit proof fence.
Yes.
And if she could just get to it, she just had to follow it all the way up. But it was how many K? Do you know how many Ks it was?
I wouldn't have a clue.
It was 1,833 kilometers long. It was also known as a state barrier fence.
So the girl that did it, could you look up how old that lady, the rabbit proof fence? I think there was like an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old, and the 11-year-old carried her they escaped from the mission and dodged trackers by like planting stuff in different areas, walking backwards in rocks and water. And she's 11 years old.
Yeah.
And she got to this fence with her sister, while the best Aboriginal tracker, like pretty much anywhere, was following them.
Yeah.
And it was just to get back to their mother because they missed their mom.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah. So how long did they track? Yeah. Could you check that out?
Yeah, the girl moved on foot for 1,600 kilometers on harsh terrains and dangerous terrains, and the fence was 1,800. She moved 1,600.
So where did she start and where did she finish? Just so I could know geographically.
Yeah, so we can pull up the actual map here. So Jigalong is this little area here.
Yeah.
And so North Perth is around here.
Damn.
So she tracked by foot all the way down into this little tiny area here.
And how old was she?
Yeah, it doesn't say how old exactly she was.
They probably didn't know their age because there's no such thing as birth certificates. Like even I remember when I first came here, a lot of the indigenous people, they don't have to show IDs because they weren't born. There's no proof of them being born. Is that right?
I never heard of that.
Yeah, Google that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure because they didn't have a lot of.
But even when I was a baby, I never had a birth certificate. I had to go and register myself because my mum didn't do it and my father didn't do it. So that could have happened.
Yeah, that's it. So do you know your actual birthday or did they guess?
Nah, I do. 8th to 5th, 98.
Okay, yeah, because I know a lot of them, they don't know their real birthday. You know what I mean? So they have to guess. They know they're about a certain age, But,
and it's so true, Grady, that it is like that up in the communities.
Yeah.
They're not really...
As westernized,
and they live by law, culture, and they speak 5 dialects language. Where trying to live a Western society and try to live culture is pretty
So I mean, a lot of our people are Australian and they know this story, but it was Aboriginal people, human beings, were not considered human beings until 1967. They were considered flora and fauna, which means like plants and animals. And people were able to put them to work and just really like pay them nothing, like literally work for nothing. They would give them, and when they did start getting money, they would all go spend it mostly on sugar because they weren't used to sugar either, and it gave them such a boost. And then there was they had massacres
So the worstest massacre was in Pinjarra.
Yeah.
Pinjarra was one of the worstest massacres here in Perth, and people say that they go back there and it just feels really like a horrible event happened here.
What happened in that massacre?
They just massacred, just killed all the people.
But do you know for a particular reason, or just felt like it?
I don't really.
You don't know?
I don't know the story, but I know that it was a biggest massacre in Perth.
Yeah, I know there was a massacre up in the East Kimberley where I believe a rancher they went into the community and saw them eating something, and he thought it was a cow that had gone into they call them killer up there. So now they have stations what we know as ranches. And Aboriginals, it's kind of a known thing that Aboriginals will go and kill a cow or whatever, and it's called killer. Do they do that here?
Say it again, please.
They call it killer. Like if they go and kill a cow, and they chop it up on the side of the road and they take it back, and everybody gets meat, right? Yeah, they did up there. But one of the ranchers thought that these people had killed his cow because they seen a bone in there, and they went and just massacred him. Turns out their cow comes walking back in, and there was absolutely no repercussions. Yeah, I mean, even Rottnest Island, the execution chamber, where they just take people there and hang them.
Yeah, so when I was 16, I went over there, and it was all Indigenous people from different parts of Australia.
Yeah.
So you had some from South Australia, New South Wales, Melbourne, Queensland, and the NT. And we all come together, some from up north, and we will all come together to learn about our history of what happened in Rottnest and how the prison cell was so small, and that I don't know, they said about 300 or 200, well, it wouldn't be 200, 300, but it was heaps of people that had to fit in that cell. Yeah. And they couldn't move the shit, so they had to shit on each other because they couldn't get out, the door was locked.
Yeah, inhumane. Yes. It's just like it. I mean, for me, it's heartbreaking, but I don't agree with that at all. Like, you can't help what color. You can't help how you're born, where you're born, or what you're born. You're just born. So like the color of your skin, if someone wants to judge you by that, well, that's their problem. But it's the way that you conduct yourself after birth. You know what I mean? And a lot of that has to do with what you're taught. You know what I mean? And it's hard. Like you have to see the example of somebody that's like has a heart and takes care of people and understands that it's actually better to like look after people. What was it? I was waiting for Diago to.
Yeah, no, I got a. This is actually a crazy video from This guy is called Lang Hancock, and for the people that are wanting to know the situation, what it was like. So back then, these were the thoughts that people like this, who's a mining tycoon, had it.
Those that have been assimilated into earning good living or earning wages amongst the civilised areas, that have been accepted into society, and they have accepted society and can handle society, I'd leave them well alone. The ones that are no good to themselves and can't accept things, the half-caste, and this is where most of the trouble comes, I would dope the water up so that they were sterile and would breed themselves out in the future, and that would solve the problem.
The do-good.
And that was their outlook. So they were trying to breed them out to solve the problem that if they don't assimilate to it.
Yeah. Harsh.
So they wanted them to change, to be a part of the white society.
What's your reaction watching that video, Archie? Have you seen it before? Was that the first time you seen it?
Yeah, I have seen it before, but it just makes me want to be part of the solution, of the problem, and to be a leader.
You got to be a leader.
And not what they say about me, that I am. I think, that I can lead my people.
Yeah, but you know what? They need kids like you. I mean, you're a good kid too. Like, you get out and like you got to go in there and stuff. But you got to be a hard worker. You got to show like you. There's dedication, and the easy money is not actually that easy. You know what I mean? It's hard because then you pay with years of your life. Yeah. And then Kane Darcy.
Kane Darcy.
Yeah, so he came in here. We wanted to get him on. We still want to get him on. I gotta have to make contact with him soon. But he became a great artist. And one of the big contributing factors that Aboriginals have is Aboriginal art, because it tells a story. Like through their artwork, you can tell which tribe each person's from, and they all come with a story. So, it's a big business, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And if they could not get used by white people that want to buy it for cheap and then make money off it, where they can make money off their storytelling. Yeah, and that can be their source of income, I guess, Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, because I know up north, they at one point, because VB is a beer called Victoria Bitter. And when I first came here, I walk around I think it's called a Ranchi. I would just walk around just looking, and they had all these Aboriginals. And I'm a white guy walking through just because I'm curious. Like, hey, what you doing in here? I'm just walking around. They go, hey, what that accent? I said, I'm American. You American? Come in here. Like the kids are touching me to see what I feel like if I was wearing like a toy or something. But anyway, she goes, you ever had a VB? And I was like, no, what's a VB? She starts cracking up. She goes, here, have one. She goes, it's a virgin buster. And it's I was like, all right, I'd take one, man. Just give me one of those VBs, man. I was like, man, I don't know. Bitter is the word, but VB is. But they would trade a carton of VB to Aboriginals for a piece of artwork. Give them a bunch of beer, like 20 case of beer in America, and they get a painting they sell for like 50, 60, 100 grand. And they've got galleries filled with it. And they do it with like raw earth that they call ochre. Yeah. You know about it?
What's that?
You know about the what they paint with the ochre?
No.
Yeah, you do. It's the earth, what they make.
Oh, the ochre, the red paint.
Yeah. So, you better know about it, or we're going to be checking your ethnicity, man. We might have a Mexican here. He might be related to Izzy. So you go to jail. So you've been in jail, what, how many times now in prison?
5 times.
And what for?
So my first was robbery.
Yep.
And they end up downgrading it to assault, occasioning bodily harm, and then.
But how does a robbery get downgraded to assault?
Because I was going to take it to trial.
Yeah, but a robbery is when you steal, and assault is when you hurt somebody.
Yes. So this is what happened. They was recording on the camera because it was recorded, but they couldn't prove that I took his took something out of his pocket.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't prove that, they couldn't say it's a robbery.
Yeah.
So they just said it was a robbery because he said to the police that this has been such and such taken. So they took his word, but they couldn't prove it on the camera.
Did you hit him or anything?
Yeah, I did.
But no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I got charged with it.
Yeah, you got charged. Was that your first conviction?
Yeah, it was my first conviction.
Okay. I thought that was the one you got off of. I was like, no, you didn't. Sorry, officers. I'm not. I'm just looking after the kid. We don't want him going for the sixth tour of duty. So how long did they give you for that? That
10
was
months.
10 months, and you were 9 on remand, no bail.
No bail.
Yeah.
Because of the seriousness of the offence, then I was the rest of the community.
So how serious was the offense? Like, I mean, if you just robbed something, that's not that bad. You must have done something bad.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
You beat his ass.
Yeah.
You beat his ass.
Lucky you got 10 months first charge ever as an adult.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I got 10 months.
And no parole, obviously, because you spent your whole time in
prison.
Yeah, in remand in Hakia.
And that's why when I got locked up again, they hit me with that 3 years. And
Okay, so here we go. So the second time. What did you do to go to the second time?
so second times was just a high-speed chase and a berg.
So when you get to high-speed chase, it's usually because you guys have jacked somebody's car, right?
Yeah, stolen car. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ben, and this is literally this is one thing you got to. What happens is they have like I've talked to quite a few of these guys, and we got to help people. This is how they get your car. They have like remotes, and they drive around pushing this remote, and remotes are like work on a lot of cars. And it goes beep beep. They know where they've got a target because they've got the remote for it, And then they wait to, even if you're not asleep, they just bust in there and take that car. Usually they look for keys, right?
Yep. It's like a scanning number. Scans that number matches that car.
Yeah.
And you can go around and unlocks it.
And then what do you do?
Well, I didn't do that because I used to do bergs and
Yeah.
I used to break into houses and get the keys that way.
Yeah, but so you would break into a house and just so if somebody doesn't want to get their car stolen, but like leaving their keys, you could hide those keys, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And the other thing I learned, Aboriginals don't like dogs. If you don't want to break it into your house, you put a big dog in the backyard, man. So true or not?
They'll be open like a kangaroo over that fence.
I talked to them because I picked a lot of their brains because it's like, what do they look for? They're like, if they got a big dog, fuck that.
Yeah,
they're going to the house that doesn't, so... so then you guys hop in this, you just joyride. Yeah,
so I was driving that Jeep and, somebody was causing mischief or causing problems around in the neighborhood and was drawing detectives, police.
Yeah.
And then when I drove out, turned left and I had 2 police cars behind me. I was fucked.
Somebody else had pulled the attention.
And it just onto me, and then I got chased, and then I tried to take them on, hitting curves, dangerous drive, and try to smash the car in the tree.
Oh, no.
Just so I could get away because I didn't want to get caught because I was already on the run.
But you were on the run for what?
For bergs.
For bergs
and
before?
Stealing, yeah.
And you only got 3 years?
I got 3 years. I'm lucky.
Yeah, well, I guess you're young, yeah.
Because the I got done with 1 berg, and that's what got me 3 years. No, it got me 2 years because it was mandatory 2 years each berg.
Yeah.
Meaning when you become third striker.
Yeah. And
then the chase got me 6 months, and then I done a bag snatch.
What's a bag? What are you snatching old lady? You snatching old lady's bag, man? Come on, man. You tell me you didn't do that. Come on.
She wasn't old.
Oh, she was young. Okay, that's all right. Then.
I'm not justifying.
Yeah. No. So what? You just see some lady walking with a bag? And
I snatched her purse, and I got 6 months for that.
6 months, and what was in the purse?
About 700.
Oh, really? Not bad, man. 700 on your first snatch? That probably wasn't your first, but yeah. What did that work out? What did that work out to per month? How long did you get for that?
I got 6 months.
So it worked out to about $110 per month. So you could have done that easy doing it legal, man.
That's true.
But the other thing is, like, a lot of guys, because there's so many families there, and the drug epidemic outside is rampant. I mean, KGB, they know you can go to, it's weird. I haven't actually seen them, but I've heard about it. You can actually go to a house and you knock on the door and they hand you drug. What's it called? A stick house or something?
Stick house.
Yeah. What is that?
So you just go buy a stick for 25. Some would do 50. Some would do.
What's a stick? A stick of weed?
Dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you buy anything else?
Well, if they sell gear.
Yeah, do they sell? Do they a lot of them sell? You knock on the house, but they don't. They don't open the door. They stick it like through a slot or something like that.
They'll have a hole in the so you got the fly screen door. They'll have a little hole there and they give them the money.
Yeah, and then what? So like they give them the money, wait, and then something comes out.
They give you the dope.
And yeah, okay. They're everywhere there.
Yeah, and I haven't done that for the last 3 years.
Good, man. You know, and I like that, dude. I like that about you because you're a good kid, man. But you know, these are dumb crimes, bro. Like, you know what? If you're gonna, I'm not gonna say, but you could do so much better. But like sticking it, you know, robbing people's purses, you get $700, you feel good. What did you do that $700? Buy drugs?
Yeah. I was bad on the meth.
Oh, on the meth. Yeah. Did you inject it?
I was smoking it heavily.
Yeah, smoking, but not injecting.
Yeah, not last year, the year before.
You started injecting after prison.
After prison.
Never injected in prison
before, or never in prison. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the things we'll tell them? Like, a lot of people go to jail to make money. How do they do that?
So they make money through subbies.
Yeah. So tell people what a subby is.
So subbies is a subby tax. It's like a little brother of, I would say, methadone.
Yeah.
It's like it's a downer.
Yeah.
You have it for heroin. If you're heroin, you use it. You put it on your tongue.
Yeah.
Or
it cures it, like stops the withdrawals.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the little nephew.
Yeah. So okay. So the doctors prescribe this shit, and on the outside you get like what? They'll give you like 35 strips of it, right?
I think they give you 5.
5 strips. And how much does 5 strips cost you? Like if you get it from the doctor?
I'll say about $100.
$100 for 5? $20 a piece?
Yeah, I reckon.
I think
something like that. I think it's cheaper.
Yeah, I think it's like $7, but I'm not sure because but then you take each one of those strips.
You can sell them for $800.
Yeah, because you cut those into
quarters.
Yeah,
so,
run us through the business of it. So you've gone in, and then what happens in there? Like, what are these strips? Run us through the entire business of it.
The business of subbies.
Yeah,
it's big business too.
So
man.
it is a big business. You know, most people profit off subbies, and you know, it's a really big market. Like, people make a lot of money because you can easily get addicted to it. And once you're addicted to it, you're ringing your family. Yeah. Send money, pay ID, pay ID.
Yeah, pay ID.
So, you know, they do quarters, pieces for spends. And
there you go. That's it. So each one of those if you're dealing with
let them run. Okay, go. Go on. Go ahead.
So, yeah, they cut them up into like quarters, or they will sell strips and I think a strip is about $800.
Yeah. So, but how many pieces do you get out of one?
I think 4 quarters.
So you get 16. You get 16 serves, huh? They cut it. Each quarter has 4 pieces.
Yep.
So each quarter has 4 pieces, and each piece is worth 1 pack of Hawks or $60.
$60, yeah.
So
some people sell at $150.
Yeah.
Pay ID, $100.
Yeah. And so you're paying like a couple dollars a piece for them on the outside and selling them for $800 on the inside.
And you're making a killing.
Yeah. So like, I don't want to interrupt, but I know a little more, like I go into a little bit more detail than you, but that's it. So a lot of these guys, I talked to a guy and he's like, he comes to prison because he's like, I came to prison because I want a new BMW. I was like, what do you mean you come to prison because you want a new BMW?
Yeah.
Yes, he comes in to sell subbies. He's like, yeah, I figured if I do 2 years, I can get a BMW and enough for like, a big stash. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I've heard someone that has made $250,000 off making money off subbies.
Yeah.
So no names mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah. And people bringing them in, you can't really get in trouble bringing them in because their prescription is like, it's like $30 worth of drugs. You know what I mean? You get banned from coming to prison for 6 months and then you do it again. You don't really go to jail if you get smuggling them in, do you?
No, you just get banned for 6 months and then, after that 6 months, you keep on repeating trafficking in the prison.
So how do people get them in the prison?
Put them in their flaps.
They put them in their flaps, but how do they?
No, they can put them in their.
But how do they get out of the prisoners? Get them
they shake them.
Okay, but the guy that brought it in didn't stick it in his cheeks for him. How do they exchange it? How does it work?
Some might kiss.
There you go. Yeah.
Someone might put it in the cup. Yeah. Some might put it in the lollies, acting like they're eating. Yeah. And then hold it under their tongue. And grab it and then put it in there, shake it.
Yeah. I mean, they put them in diapers. They do everything.
They do anything. Yeah. They even use their own kids.
Yeah. Yeah. But and in prison, there's 2 ways to take them. How's that go?
2 ways to
take the subby.
You can snort it or you can shoot it.
Yeah. And when people shoot it, do they share needles?
Yes.
Like 10 people in a row, bang, 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 bang.
then that needle could be used, I don't know, hundred of times.
Yeah.
Because they'd use constantly every day.
Yeah.
And they probably use twice a day.
Yeah.
And if that's one person twice a day and they share them with 5 different other people, that's 10 times.
How much does a needle cost in prison?
Some can go, I think, $250.
$250 for a syringe. Yeah.
If it's good, they probably try to sell 5. I reckon 3.
Yeah, $500 for like a not so used needle.
Nah, a brand new
A
one.
brand new one's $500. What happens like a slightly used one? How much does that one go for?
They'll try to get a strip for it.
A strip for it?
So strip is $800, but
Yeah.
they know it costs shit outside prison, you know?
And it's big. What about meth? Is meth big in there?
Not really.
Not really, but yeah, you get it every now. But it's the subbies that everybody's after.
Subbies has changed the system.
Yeah, and then there's also the homebrew.
Yeah, the homebrew.
Homebrew. Christmas Day homebrew. Tell about Acacia on the homebrew.
So homebrew is made with bread dough. Dough, so because it's got yeast in there, and they would use that with sugar and apple juice or orange juice.
Yeah, and how long do you have to? How does it turn to alcohol? Like, you know.
So we used to make it. We used to boil it in a pot.
Yeah.
And boil the yeast out of the dough, and then get all the shit out, and just let it boil, and then put it around and let it sit for a week, and then Bob's your uncle.
What's the Bob's your uncle? I like actually Bob's my dad. That's my dad's name. And then it's funny because like at Christmas time, everybody like even the officers know Christmas time's coming up, so homebrew is everywhere, and like it's all like the bike like the shot callers or whatever like get noms and people they're like, we're putting that in your room, right? Yeah. It's luck of the draw if you get caught or not. But I see one Christmas I was there with Archie. I seen one guy, I don't even remember. He got knocked out 3 times in one day. Do you remember that? He's drunk, he's fighting everybody, but it's mayhem.
Yes, it is.
It is mayhem, man. People fighting each other everywhere. Like, no doubt they're drunk, but here we go.
Yeah, that's a brew.
Yeah.
As it turns.
But we make it in a bucket, not a bag.
Bruh. Yeah, and then,
like a bucket, something.
bro.
Yeah, that's what we would use.
Looks delicious.
Chemical bottles. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but the best you have to find a good place to hide it. Like that's the secret is to find hide it.
It does stink.
Yeah,
some people pay people oxes or half an ox, especially when it's coming up New Year's or Christmas. Being away from your family, you want to have some fun. You know, you're missing out on friends and family and get to enjoy yourself outside.
So nothing like getting hammered and knocked out 3 times to have a good time.
But
I mean, it is mayhem. People they are fun, but I mean. We play, I call it basket brawl. He was there. People go for a layup and just get punched in the face, man. Then you go like foul. He's like, that's not a foul. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm bleeding, man.
old Abby. Remember Abby?
Which one?
Big Rob Mungamara.
Oh, yeah. You know, if I can just beast down there.
He always wanted to fight Grady.
Is he still awake? Grady back down to anybody?
Hey?
Did Grady back down to anybody?
Nah, he's an animal.
So what was the? So you went through the first crime, second crime. What was the third and fourth and one more, 5 actually?
So it was 5. Yeah. So I got out. November. No, I didn't get out November. I got out February. February 2022 from Carnet. And then I stayed out for about, I'll say 6 months. And then I went back in for 2 months. And then after that, I went back into jail. And then I went back after that and I done 18 months.
But what was the 18 months for again?
Same thing. Assault.
Are you okay? So when you're doing these assaults, are you sober? Or is it when you're always drunk?
It's when I'm in it's when I'm on drugs.
Yeah, drugs. So yeah, I never really messed with meth, but like cocaine was. But I've seen guys that like I'd say 95%, or I don't know if it's got to be like 90% of everybody that's in there has something to do with either selling meth or being on meth or trying to get meth.
That's true.
You know, so yeah. And then a lot of times, but like when you're sober and you're being a good kid, like right now, you've been sober how long?
2 years. 1 month and 8 days.
No drinking.
2.5 years, no drinking.
Oh man, I'm happy for you, bro. See, these are the things like we're gonna use you because we want to help people, man, and that's our end goal. So yeah, so it is fun to talk about crime. There's a reason that like true crime is like the number one watched like subject. Is it in the world? Is the number one thing in the world, Diego?
Yeah, top 5 podcasts in the world. 3 of them are true crime.
Yeah, so people love it, but it's damaging to families, and especially do you have kids? No kids. Yeah, but it's damaging to kids to grow up without their dad. Like your dad wasn't there because where? He was in prison.
Yep.
What's your dad in prison for?
He was in prison for burgs and stealing and even DNV, domestic violence.
Or domestic violence, yeah. And then, like your dad, where is he now?
He's in prison.
Yeah, and you talk to him how often?
Every Saturday he calls me.
Yeah, make sure I say hello. This time he gets out, he comes with us. We'll get him a job, do the good, do right, you know. Yeah. Plus, I don't know. I'm getting old.
How long has he got?
He gets out next year.
Next year, yeah. He always gets out next year. Then he goes right back. Like he's like, how long did he do the last stint? He did a bit, didn't he?
He done 2 years.
2 years. Yeah. What's the longest you've done?
3.
Straight? Yeah. And you do get parole or no way?
No.
You know, Aboriginal guys don't even worry about it, do they?
I done all the courses.
Yeah.
I was a menace.
Yeah, I know. But you're like, you know, he's like he's a good kid, man. The potential is there, but it's just, it's the influence and and you have to have, right. There's no right way or wrong way for people to live as long as they're not hurting others. You know what I mean? Or taking from others that, you know, that are detrimental. But the way they would, it's important for, I think, children to have their father more so in like you know, one of influence. So when you do have kids, man, you got to take into account. Do you want your kids to see you going through prison and them, you know, waiting for Saturday that's it. So like, man, it's hard because in the environment that you're at, everybody's on drugs and alcohol. Everybody's doing it. So man, how strong are you to refrain from it? You know.
So I try and lead by example.
Yeah.
And show them a new way to live.
Yeah, that's it. So
it's by my actions and what I do, and by the fruits of like my actions they can see for themselves. You know.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things we're working with a lot of guys. And we're like when I get out, like I said, if you just let me if you let me be with my kids, man, I'm gonna use my big mouth to help people. So I tell these stories, I'll bring them to them, but at the end of the day, it's always for someone to do better. And we're doing, it's called From Change to Change, and then we want to get behind like getting people jobs out of prison, you know, where they can make a good living. You know, you make good living in the mines, man. Like anything, you don't even need to read and write. They give you a job. I mean, you can make 120, 180 grand a year working, you know, and you do it 2 weeks out of the year. Did you get any tickets while you're in there?
So I haven't, but I think personally for me, I think they need to do the ground things of life skills before they can take big responsible of having big money income coming in, because they can blow it on the same thing, drugs and alcohol and even prostitutes and casino and the rest with the spending, you know, and they need to learn the basics, just life skills.
What would it be life skill to you? Like what would you like to learn? So let's just say you've got a chance, you're a baby and you get born into a white person's house. What would you want to be taught? Like your life skills. What do you see from the outside looking into our side? What do you want? Yeah. What would you see?
So for me?
Yeah, for anybody. Like what kind of life skills are you looking for?
Well, life skills would be like, you know, normal life, like doing life, like having responsibilities, you know, being responsible, being accountable.
Learning the value of money.
Yep, and creating different values and beliefs.
Yeah.
And breaking that cycle. You know, I'm a man of faith, so God helps me to...
And what church do you go to?
Global Heart Church.
Where is it in Joondalup?
Yep.
I'll go there. I'll go with you there. You know what I mean? We'll talk to the pastor, see if there's some like stuff that we can like get together, because there's so many guys in prison that are coming out, and I know a lot of guys that like through the system. A lot of them have been molested, right? Like you get molested by guards, and it's crazy. There's so many people that have had such traumatic experiences in there, and there's like real trauma that goes on. But there's a lot of talent, and there's got to be like churches are good, but they're not always the best because not everybody wants to be religious. You know what I mean? And they don't want to be preached to. You know what I mean? they want to understand that if they do something wrong, it's not always wrong. You can enjoy life still, but it will help. And so, like, I am a Christian too, but I think I understand humans a little bit better than, like, if you do this, you're going to hell. I think that's ruling by fear, and I think you can be a human, and still get into heaven. But
how'd you get to faith? How'd you end up at that church, and how'd you end up being a Christian?
So it's been a long story.
Yeah.
I had an encounter with God 2 years ago. I had anointing of the Holy Spirit, and God. I felt God spiritually, and I just kept talking about God and wanted to learn about God, and people could see things in my life and could realize that God was having a big imprint in my life. And not 2 years, but when I was back in prison, I surrendered to the Lord and felt the grace of God, and He revealed a lot of things to me that He wanted me to be a leader for my people.
And they needed, who was that in Acacia?
Yeah.
Was that with Gareth?
No, he wasn't. I know Gareth.
Yeah.
It wasn't Acacia, it was in Casarena, Unit 1.
I never went there, so I don't know.
So it was the worstest of all units, and I met Jesus in there.
Yeah, well, that's where He shows up, man. You know what I mean? That's where He shows up. So.
What was that moment?
I felt loved.
Yeah.
I felt like I had all my baggage that I was carrying for so long, all my sins, and my heart, a clear slate. I felt like my heart renewed. It says in His eye that I would change your heart from a heart of stone to a heart of flesh, and He did that.
Yeah. So, and you're living good. And actually, speaking of hearts, I've had you try to go do a house for me, and you had like a heart attack or something, right? You ended up in the hospital?
Yes, I did.
What you have a heart condition?
Yes, I got Wolff-Parkinson-Whiteley syndrome. And
so, I mean, you spend quite a bit. I mean, every time I've been calling you, you're doing time in the hospital.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
So it was just a heart. So it just keeps on beating, and it can beat out a beat. And if the
is it arrhythmia or
something like that.
Yeah.
And if the two operations didn't work, they would have to put a pacemaker, so it shocks the heart.
Yeah, okay.
And it brings you back.
So you've had heart surgery?
Yeah, too.
Since when?
When I was in prison.
In prison they did surgery on you. Wow.
So I had an encounter with God. I met the Lord. And then a week after I had a surgery. And then I had another surgery a week after that in the same month. Yeah.
But so what are you doing now? Okay. What are you doing now to be an influence in the community? I mean, do you need help to set something up? What are you trying to do?
So I'm trying to get people together from different organizations to bring ideas and solutions for the 80%, 70% of men in prison. Not just, we are focusing on Indigenous men, but we want non-Indigenous men to be helped too, because all lives matter. And if we come in unity, and I look at it as a biblical way in fellowship, we can be part of the solution to want to change and to help each other. And I was going to share to be men to our wife, our children, our brothers. We got to be strong men, leaders.
That's right.
We got to lead the way. And me and my best mate and my other best mate want to start a men's shed for men.
Yep.
And my auntie wants to start the women's shed for women. And they're for broken people, so that we can give them the support to help them be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, and does it matter what area? I mean, do you want to be obviously where you live up north a bit?
Hey?
Do you want to do these sheds closer to you where you can
facilitate? No, I'm trying to focus, north of the river, but I'm trying to focus more in Noongar Indigenous mob. Yeah. Because I feel like the stolen generation has affected us, the ripple effect of generations that has affected more than any other. Well, Sydney has, Melbourne has. Yeah. But not more of the Indigenous mob up north because they still speak in dialects language and they still practice culture. Yeah. I think our culture's been really wiped out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If there's anybody out there that wants to, jump on board and help young Archie, I'm in. Diago's in. Diago, you in?
Well, I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. I'm a Christian too.
Hit us up for crimes and just send us a message. We've got, what's our email, Diego?
We got crimesandmisunderstandings@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, crimesandmisunderstandings.com, and we have a form there that you can fill out as well.
All right. And then, just if you guys like the show, you want to get a part of it, hit that like and subscribe. Archie, last thoughts, like, well, you're doing this shit. When has anything started? You just a group of 3 of you now?
Yeah, it's heaps of us that want to get involved. I got offered a job at Outcare to work back in the prisons yesterday.
Really? Yeah.
They want me to work there because they can see that I'm a leader for my people, and they still they believe in me.
Right.
And you know that option is there.
Yeah,
if
beautiful.
I can work for Outcare that works with the prisons, you probably know they go into prison.
Yeah.
They want me to work from because I've only been out 6 months and they want me to work from.
Yeah. So go back in.
To go back and help the boys in prison.
Hey, well, that's love to go to. Well, I know I didn't love prison so much, so I don't want to go back there even to visit. But yeah, man, I think because you get out and you've shown that you've done good. You did good in prison, which is hard to do.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of boredom, and then you get out and you're doing good again.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I think congrats, do it, and we're there to help you anyway.
Yep.
So, Diego, anything you want to tell Diego or his fans? Because he does have a lot of fans.
Hey, make sure you like, subscribe. That's an awesome story. And I'm glad you've become a Christian, and it seems like it's the right path for you. And we'll have you back on and see the updates.
Cheers, mate.
All right, like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace.
Yeah.
You think you can take me? Give me a fucking arm, you wanna take me?